Hello everybody, it's me Rival Gaz, aka Real Gaz, having a good day today. It's Friday, we're doing our PhD update as per the usual. So I've been trying my best, as you guys know, to turn a corner and just improve my mental health and outlook and do whatever I can do to make sure that I'm doing a good PhD and that everything is coming together on the gaming front, on the content front, in the IRL front, like in real life, and all things like in between, as well as taking care of other people. This week was a really special week, actually. I don't want to talk about it too much, like why it was special, but it just was a special week. And the reason why I can't talk about it very much is because we're trying to do something strategic, like we got a plan. So if I really talk about this miraculous and huge achievement right now, it could be seen as, it could just be misinterpreted, right? And we don't want any haters, so we're just going to keep it on the down low. But lots of congratulations are in order, and I can probably share some things in the Discord at some point for all you guys as well. But yeah, massive congratulations are in order. But since this kind of PhD update is really about me and my activities, let's just try to keep it that way for now. So things that have happened in the last week, it's been an interesting week. The most important update is that we are getting closer to locking in a confirmation of candidature, time and place to do it, which is great. It's looking like it's going to be in October now. So we had a little bit of backwards and forwards about when we can line everybody up to get everything right with ethics and so on and so forth. And it looks like administratively, we're getting everybody lined up for a late October meeting. So that way we can do the confirmation then, and then I'll have a few days to incorporate the feedback and put that in for our ethics application. And because I went to the ethics workshop and I have the list of questions and things that they're looking for, and I'm aware of the fact that they want me to address certain risks and to make sure that the research is as, trouble-free as possible and risk-free as possible, I'm feeling confident that I know what to do and how to frame it and everything else, right? So that's really good. In terms of reading and research this week, one really huge thing happened, which was the Routledge book on esports dropped. So it's effectively like a encyclopedia or a definitive reference on all things esports. And I've seen like so many different authors and contributors, some academics, some practitioners, some just ordinary people by the looks of it on LinkedIn, are contributing to the book, and I think that's amazing. I myself don't regret not contributing to it because I just didn't know about it. You know, I contributed to the Handbook of Homeland Security when I was doing cybersecurity stuff, but as is the case that no one can actually supervise my research here in Australia, you know, we're just doing video games instead. Fortunately though, there's a lot of overlap there, transferable skills there and stuff, so it's all not for naught, yeah? Right, so that came out and I've not got my hands on it yet, but I have heard how authors do appreciate it if you thank them for their work and let them know that you're interested in their work, and sometimes they might be able to share a copy of their work with you so that way you don't have to pay the big fees. But either way, I do plan, that's my long-winded way of saying that I plan on getting a copy of the book, because I'm going to definitely be using that to inform the literature review and to help make sure that I'm contextualizing everything and that I really am up to date on all things gaming in that respect. So that's the second book that those people have. One's just on straight gaming and play, and this one is on a type of gaming and play, esports. That was really cool. Something else that also happened this week was, outside of just spending every day trying to work on myself and improve my mental health, because this is something that I really need to talk to you guys about, right? Which is that turning a corner and making things better for yourself on the inside, it took time to get into the kind of mental state that I'm in, and it's going to take me time to get out of that mental state. And what I kind of observed is, in my own self-reflections of everything that's kind of gone down, to kind of not push me into this spot, but like, you know, life happens. So you reflect and go, okay, these moments are pretty standout moments. And basically what I was experiencing was, for want of a better term, just like a bit of a fundamental breakdown in trust and expectations on how things are supposed to be. So I'll give you an example. Because so many prominent people have let me down, and so many figures of authority and trust have let me down, and because so many times I've tried to do good and tried my best to do good, and I've been let down and things just aren't working, I've kind of like taught myself that nothing ever is going to work out type of thing. And then I just started going on the offensive all the time. If you watch my stream and you see me playing games and stuff, like I said, Rival Gaz is a character. Real Gaz, me who I am, the person that I am and the background that I have and everything like that, everything from learning how to pull triggers to being incognito to only working in the national interest and things like this. After a while, a lot of things just take its toll on you. So outside of the persona, like me, myself, and what I was trying to organize in my life to change my life and to change the lives of others and to make sure that I could be the stalwart that I took an oath to be. When things stopped working and I just started getting, for want of a better term, cooked, it just sucked. And it really brought me down, and I kind of got into like a negative habituation where I was just not responding correctly, and I couldn't really process anything right. Like everything was just wrong, so I kind of needed to like blank slate it and try to start again, but that's not how the mind works. So it's just taking a very long time to kind of reprogram or recenter, or one way of looking at it is like every day when you wake up, imagine that everything is black. But you get to turn the lights on and you get to determine what's going on. So it's kind of like when you turn on the computer. If your computer's cooked, then it's just going to have all these viruses and all this crap just starting straight up, and you're waiting 45 minutes to like even get started on that. That's totally an exaggeration. But you know what I mean? Like the computer just doesn't even start. It's super slow and busted, and you got to work on that all day. So it's like every day you're kind of in charge of yourself, and if you follow like all the best protocols and things that are recommended on the internet by the smarty pants people, then you're just going to be like, okay, Gaz, I see your analogy. It's like, I get to turn the lights on. I get to determine what's going to be in this. It's not a memory palace. It's your own psychological palace. It's your own reality, and you fill it, and you got to fill it with good and train yourself to look for good and build up those reserves, so that way you can cop the blows like how I cop the blows, and to be able to refill that. And it's like I had to refill the dam. I've been like using water out of it, but now I got to refill it, you know, but we still got strong infrastructure in this sort of in the Hoover Dam of my heart and mind. So I've just been really working on that, which is why I haven't actually been putting out content. You guys have to also be aware that when I did season 2 of the Hikikomori stream as a foundation artifact to prove that what I was doing was like a legitimate kind of thing in terms of sociological practice and everything for research, that was like a challenging time playing a hikikomori. And you go through stuff when you're an actor and you're doing all this stuff, if that makes sense. And I'm totally right there for psychological support for streamers and people who do the things like what we do in making content and gaming and study and all the national security stuff and everything like this. It's just so important. I'm kind of just losing my train of thought here, but it's just been a bit of a ride. So when I had to go back and edit all that content, I was like, whoa, I'm being exposed to some crazy stuff here, you know? And my fans were writing me letters, and it was a heartbreaking time. So having to go through all of that again, it wasn't easy. So I've made the executive decision that I'm not going to be able to produce the story that I wanted to tell yet, because for two reasons. One, I don't really have the resources, and two, the themes are a bit out there, right? So I've just been focusing instead on collecting the footage. I got about 14 different bins there is what they're called in Adobe Premiere when you're doing all the video editing of stuff and to go through. And I'm going to start making those videos for the fans, right? So it's happening. But in terms of research, it's like we're just going through the programmatic stages of the research training program and making sure that what we're doing is like world class. Right. Last week we spoke about how we were dreaming of Stanford and stuff, and it was really cool because like I wrote this post based on a retweet from what Andrew Huberman shared, which is one of his favorite things about his podcast is that he gets to top with the top 1% of experts in health and science, right? And he has these long conversations with them, and it's really amazing and enriching, and he gets to share that information. And what I retweeted was basically, and I'll read it verbatim, but this is exactly how my undergraduate was at ANU when I did security studies. The center was ranked top 10 in the world, and you were only ever instructed by or professed to by a preeminent expert in their topic. We were built different. I really cherish what Andrew Huberman is doing. Thank you, sir. Because now in my PhD, I'm totally off on my own. Like I live in Darwin and I'm working remotely. Like they send the Marines here, guys, to counter threats. Like it's a place you don't really want to be if you have the option of being somewhere else, like, you know, Andrews and Marys. Anyway, so I'm working remotely. And so, you know, things like the Huberman Lab podcast make it possible for me to still maintain the intellectual environment I had when I was coming into my own as a young man, which is really important during those formative stages of your life, right? I know that my PhD is in gaming and it's easy to lose control of your focus and intention and get saturated with good times, but I set it upon myself to always include a lecture, yes, or a podcast if I can't, on a whole range of topics. Why not just gaming though, for topics, if you're trying to get smart at that in a PhD? It's because when I had the chance to be a vice chancellor's student in a class in complexity studies is what I took. And I also actually took a class on leadership. That was very cool. I learned about interdisciplinary thinking and finding novel answers to matters in places we never thought to look, right? So the apple falling from the tree type of story, or just, it's something that guys, it just left a super duper strong impression on me, right? So when I couldn't actually do my cybersecurity, human-computer interaction, how we as people in a society, and that sounds so silly, but just how we use our technology for good or bad, I was like, I can't do this kind of research, but I can kind of just do the same thing vis-a-vis in gaming in terms of how we look at being the best in gaming. And if you're really a clever cookie, you can see that there's lots of interdisciplinary links. And certainly this kind of research and thinking could lend itself to our national interests, right? One way or the other. It doesn't have to be intelligence work or spooky work or war with China work or any of this kind of stuff. It could just be good old-fashioned betterment of society and humanity, how we play and how we get good at games and understanding the sociology of it, as well as the science of it and the neuroscience of it. Wow. That's why I'd love to go to Stanford, or I'd love to be in the States where it'd be possible to more closely collaborate with experts in the sports sciences, in the neurosciences, in the sciences, guys. Come on, you know what I mean? Because I'm a people's guy, right? I know I'm just kind of trying to simplify it, and you have to forgive me because, again, I'm all on my own here, and I'm not going to be able to show you my final form until like I am saturated in that place. Whether it's going to be like, I need to go to the hyperbolic time chamber for a Dragon Ball Z reference of intellectualism, you know? So where is that? Is that Stanford? Is that in the UK? Where is that? And it's not just me, it's also Lady Gaz, because they are a superstar. They're my better half, right? And together we are, this is the challenge. Where's a place for two academics, two intellectuals? You know, where can we be? That's why I kind of secretly have my fingers crossed for Palo Alto, and then I look over at my Ganesh, the remover of obstacles, and I go, you know, are we going there, Ganesh? Anyway, back to the tweet. What can I say? The guy inspires me. That's a professor. Let's hope Stanford gets back to the misses on the application. It would be good to give back and see the intellectual environment and educate the leaders of tomorrow. Guys, you know, I just get up here and I riff, right? I do this ad lib. There's no like preparation or script or anything like that. It would be amazing to do some of these with some notes. And actually, it would be an amazing life achievement if you ever got to go on the Huberman Lab podcast and talk about elite level gaming at the end of the thesis. Like, do you reckon it'd still be going in 4 years? Or am I going to like just have to like hyperbolic time chamber it and Son Gohan Super Saiyan it so that way I can get in there early. But he said top 1%. He said top 1% experts, right? So I have no hope of publishing that much in that amount of time.